All members of the Public Utilities Committee are present.
Did I tell you, Kenmore has a lot more diversity in kinds of businesses.
It's okay, it's okay. I'm just waiting on Bob.
No, we want to. I'm pushing her. I'm pushing
Not at all.
her. She's just being a good leader. I'm pushing her. She's staying ahead of me. No, I tell her to go faster. I'm the bad guy.
Can I get a motion for the previous meeting minutes?
So move.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We have three pieces in front of us. First one is an ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee, after publicly advertising for bids, to enter into a contract for the purchase of sodium hydrochloride for disinfection at the water reclamation facility and declaring an emergency. Mr. Leto?
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of the committee. With our improvements we've done to the wastewater plant, able to go up to 220 million gallons a day with our step feed, we used a lot more chemical than we projected this year, which is a good thing because we're doing a lot more treatment at the plant. So sodium hypochlorite is the last thing that we do for disinfection. Basically, it's bleach. Right. So we had to buy more chemical this year, and this is at the end of the pipe. So after all the treatment process, we inject this in before it's discharged to the river.
Okay. Any questions from committee members? Mr. Swirsky?
Motion for approval.
Oh, wait, Mr. Kilby?
So $65,000, how many gallons does that, or barrels, how does that get us? How much?
That's almost half of what we normally use. So we were treating around 16 gallons per hour. Now we're up to 30. Now we only treat up at the disinfection season is the only time we have to do this. Okay. So it's May 1st to October 31st.
All right.
Or October 1st, I mean. So this is to get us to the end of the year.
So we measure in gallons?
Gallons, how we inject it.
How many gallons do you think we need a year? Got any idea?
You know what? I can get back to you. I'm not sure how many we use a year.
All right. Motion for...
One second. Any questions from any council members? No? What's your pleasure, Mr. Leto?
Consent's fine.
Consent. Can I get a motion for consent?
Motion for consent.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, next one. Ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee, after publicly advertising for bids, to enter into a contract for the purchase of sodium bisulfite for disinfection at the water reclamation facility and declaring an emergency. Mr. Leto?
So this chemical is added after the hypochlorite, okay? So with the chlorine level so high at the discharge point, this is actually to neutralize it. So sodium biosulfate is used not only in the wastewater, but is also used in the water treatment process at our up at the water supply plant. So this chemical, obviously we had to buy more because we had to use more sodium hypochlorite this year.
Okay. Any questions from committee members? Council? What's your pleasure, Mr. Leto?
Consent's fine, thank you.
Motion for consent.
Can I get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, last one. Ordinance authorizing Director of Public Service or his designee, without formally publicly advertising for bids, to enter into a contract for the sale of sewer inspection cameras and related equipment to Red Zone Robotics, Inc. in exchange for sewer inspection services and declaring an emergency. Mr. Leto?
We own 4 small, what we call red zone cameras that we bought these back in like 2012, and we would deploy these cameras. It would be a 2 or 3 person crew where they would drop a camera in a manhole and it would go automatically to the other end, and then it would come back, and then we'd pull the camera out, we'd download the information. And we did this as part of our CMOM process. So as you know, we have to TV and clean all our sanitary sewer and our combination combined. So there's 840 miles of this sewer that we have to do every 5 years, and we break it up in fifths. Well, what we found with these cameras were if there's any little offset in the pipe, so on a lot of our old clay pipe you could have an offset of 1 inch. If they didn't make it to the other end, they did a reversal and came back. So then we'd have to take another truck out and we'd have to do it again. So we used these for like the first 4 or 5 years, but now they not only need to be rehabbed, they need to be downloaded with new software. So we looked at that versus trading them in, and we're going to receive $70,000 worth of red zone. They have a company that comes in and does the big pipe, the trunk line, so we don't do. So we are going to trade these back in and receive that much service in our program. So we are currently in our last 5 years of our second 5, which means we've done this for 10. We have to be done by the end of the year. And we are like 92% done with our second phase, which, I mean, as you know, it has really shown by doing all this TV and cleaning, the reduced number of calls from our residents because of what we've done. So we feel like this would be a good thing for our program.
Okay. Okay, any questions from Mr. Freeman?
This doesn't affect, the consent decree doesn't say that we have to be the ones that,
No, we just have to, we either have to perform it ourselves, which we do a lot of it with our own employees, and a lot of the big stuff we do contract out. Okay. We just have to submit the reports for their consent decree.
and so these cameras would not be the cameras that are used on the lateral from a house?
No, no, no,
Okay.
that's something different.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Any other questions from committee members, Mr. Kilby?
So are we gonna have to buy some new ones here eventually, or?
No, we have 3 TV trucks, so big trucks that we send employees out every day. We have 3 crews that go out every day. So we designated 3 of our vacs with 3 TV trucks.
Right.
So we've trained our own employees, and a lot of our high school kids that we've brought on, that's how they work their way up. They start with the laborer,
Right.
they're out with the cleaning crew, then we've worked them in with our TV cleaning, our inspection crew.
Okay, so do you have any idea what they cost back in 2012?
These cameras?
Yes, how much they,
I'm not really sure. I have to find that out for you.
okay. How many do we have? How many?
There's 4 of these.
Okay.
But the big trucks, we have 3 of those.
Okay, so this company that is gonna get them has promised us $70,000 worth of services. How do we measure that, by the hour, or?
They charge us so much a foot.
Okay.
And the diameter of the pipe.
So you
So
said
if you did the trunk line, let's say through North Hill, and it's a 48-inch pipe, that might be like $2 a foot.
Okay.
But if you were on a 36-inch pipe, you know, it might only be $1 a foot.
Okay, so you said we've done 90% of our sewers, right?
This
So-
is the second time. So
Oh.
we started, and in 14, we had to do all of it.
Okay.
So in 14, we started over, and then we have to be done by the end of 19. So we're at 92%, so we'll make it by the end of
So
the
do you
year.
think this company, the $70,000 will finish up what we need? to
Well,
do?
just part of it. It'll carry into next year, because we're going to continue to do some too.
Okay, but the $70,000 worth of services that they're giving us for these cameras, will that be enough to finish it up?
Oh, you mean the rest of this year?
Right.
I don't think it's even going to take that. I think we'll use the services into next year.
Okay.
Because the stuff we can do ourselves, we will. We won't contract it out.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions from council members? What's your pleasure, Mr. Ludlow?
Consent's fine.
Can I get a motion for consent?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, if nothing else is coming before us, we are adjourned.